Hello boys and girls, hello raiders, and welcome back to a quick update video about the Mythicat team that I just made. I am running the wrong team, so I'm just running my NM key here in the background. It was supposed to be a team with Deacon, now it's a team with Demitha. Let's see how it goes, just purely random, all auto. It shouldn't work, let's see what happens. I just have a couple of things that I want to mention about the team, and there's a couple of drawbacks, I would say. Because I'm using Demitha in the comp, specifically Demitha, it's kind of difficult to get the damage up. I'm also not relying too heavily on poison, which is a quote-unquote easier method of dealing more damage to clan boss. It's also for some reason, kind of underrated way of dealing more damage to the clan boss. Everyone wants to use like Turvold or Ninja or that kind of stuff, but relying on poison is often easier, and I kind of see that now. Like, my team does well and it worked super well for me with my gear, but in my Mythicat video I said that I highly recommend people trying the team out for themselves if they have the comp, they have the champions, and I still firmly believe that if you have it to Hanorach, life could be a lot easier in terms of clan boss and making a team. And Anax works absolutely fantastic. He deals so much damage, he dishes out damage like a truck. But my concern here is Demitha, mainly. And of course it's super easy to say, but if I could run this comp as a 2-1 comp instead, let's say that I had someone like what's this called, Fushan. If I had a Fushan instead, or I could use a Seeker. I don't really know the logistics about it, but if I could change 1 or 2 champions and I could make the team a 2-1 instead without having insane speeds, I think the team would have been easier to gear. The only thing is the speed, of course. That's why I mentioned I don't know how fast the speeds would have to be for that. But I think getting a 2-1 team, if possible, just helps with overall damage. And I think it just makes for an easier comp. It's way more complex to build. Tuning a 2-1 comp is very, very complex, or it can be very complex, but I just think it would be easier, because I don't know if you remember some of the builds from the last video that I uploaded, but it takes a lot to build an Annex to deal this kind of damage. And I'm not saying that from like an end game perspective, because I'm nowhere near end game or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a Kraken. Like, I don't wail out. I just have pretty decent gear overall on my account. And right now he's running effectively 6,400 attack and 285 crit damage or something like that. He's running really high numbers, like extremely high numbers, honestly. Not even joking. And Hela is running with increased defense. He's probably running closer to the same, like 6,500-ish. Krila is also doing pretty well. Like, the damage numbers here are pretty good. This can deal 50 million damage, and this is the absolute best gear on my entire account. I got some more pieces that I want to roll up to see if they get better. But I haven't done it yet because I need a lot of silver, because in case they roll in speed, I need to rework all of my champions and that kind of pizzazz. So I'm still thinking if I want to keep the comp, or I want to start developing a team or a comp that runs 2-1 instead. I'm not entirely sure what's best, because I could remove both Krila and Demitha. What I would need is Helicath, Anax, and Tuha to make that work, and then replace the last 2 with someone else. The problem is I don't have Fushan. I would love a Fushan. I could try and use Deacon and Seeker. Not entirely sure how that would work out, but it's an idea. And I think if I can get the speeds there, if I can get enough stuff to lower the speeds, I think it actually would deal a lot more damage. That might even 1 key compared to this team. So again, he deals, like, the team deals a lot of damage. I think it's a very good team. I think it's worth building if you're struggling and you don't have the double man-eater and Geo kind of combo, or like a salad eater, bat salad eater. There's a lot of comps out there, but yeah, if this is kind of the roster that you have as well, I think it's still worth an attempt. I still think it's a pretty good team. I just think that the requirements to make or to deal a lot of damage might be a bit too high. So I have 2 of my champions in Toxic, pretty good Toxic as well, and my Annex is an absolute monster. So I just don't know if... I don't really know if I should have recommended it right there and then. That might be on me. That might have been a mistake. Again, it does quite well. As you can see, it runs pretty smoothly now, even on NM, just full auto. It does pretty well. I'm not even close to die. It's kind of out of tune, but who really cares? It's fine. But the idea here is maximizing your resources, maximizing your champions at all time. That's always what we're talking about. If it comes to gear, champions, resources is always the main factor. You want to maximize your potential. And in my opinion, if you have someone like a Draco, or you have, if you have a Draco, maybe even a Nethril, that kind of stuff that just applies a lot of poison, even a Frozen Banshee with a Skull Crown, or someone else with counterattack, Martyr, that's probably also still a very viable way to go. It just depends on the accuracy and the debuffs from your other champions, of course. But that would definitely help with lowering the requirement for the attack and crit damage, because applying poison, HP burn just takes damage all the time. It's a lot easier way or method of dealing damage. It's just that it's not as flashy as using Annex because it's cool, you know? But it's not really... That's not what it should be about, honestly. And I think it's kind of turned into that way now in Raid, that you need to show off. You need to only use the coolest champions. You need to make it work in order to be one of the cool guys or whatever. And I don't know, I'm not really up for it. I can see it. I'm using a team right now that's pretty cool, honestly. It's pretty buffed out. And I think there are way easier ways of making a comp like this. That's pretty much where I'm going to end it. I think there's a lot easier comps. I think there's a lot more interesting comps that you can do. Even if you could just make a 2-1 comp, if you have counterattack or ally attack and Frozen Banshee, I'm pretty sure that's a 2 key, maybe even 1 key, it depends. Of course, the faster you go, the more times you can hit the clan boss. So of course my Annex would probably perform better than Frozen Banshee. It kind of depends on the situation, but if I had a 2-1 comp, I would definitely try to use Annex, as poison only ticks when clan boss actually gets a turn. That's when the debuff actually hits him. That's when the poison procs. So I kind of have to take that back as well. If I had a 2-1 comp, I would use Annex, if possible. Just because he hits 2 times for every 1 time clan boss hits, which makes him deal basically twice as much damage, which is really cool. But again, like to come to a conclusion here, I think this team is pretty cool. I can 2-key Ultra Nightmare, I can 1-key Nightmare pretty consistently. The gear isn't absolutely insane. It didn't really break my account, but it is quite gear intensive. It's pretty heavy. I'm glad that I still got my very fast Lysandra Arbiter, high accuracy Ceres, and my very, very strong Foley. So I didn't break any of my other champs or builds. But then again, I think I might be relying a bit too heavily on Annex, and I think this comp it has another stage or two. I need to make another rendition of this team where I rely more on poison, where I rely maybe even on going 2 for 1. I'll find a way of incorporating more turn meter, so I can do a 2-1 comp with Annex instead. Even sacrificing Demitha, taking her out of the picture, and maybe even change Creela for someone, and then just have Annex run a lot faster and just take more turns. Because a lot of these champions actually deal quite decent on-hit damage. That's 130k. Whew. Like, Mythicat deals a good chunk. To Hanorak actually deals a very good chunk as well. So Anax deals a lot of damage. So I think the best way from now on is to do exactly that. I think the best way or the course of action is to go back into the calculator, Clan Boss calculator from Deadwood Jedi's site, and rework this team completely to make it a 2-1 comp. So now I have a constant team that works really well for UNM and NM. No problem. If you got the champs, make it. I'm going to say it again. It's not that hard because I can easily 2-key. Sometimes, depending on affinity, I might struggle, but then you can have 2 DPS and it should be fine. What I'm saying is that I think this comp could have been easier with applying more poison champions or HP burn champions. And then for the future, I want to incorporate trying to make it a 2-1 comp instead. So Anax can deal even more damage. Does that make sense? I think that's the best course of action for me and my account and my team. The Mythicat team. Whew, that was a long speech. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this made sense for you. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that fancy stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.